Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, marks of all ages, welcome to the Wrevolution podcast. My name is Nick Cavalli.
My name is Marques Wyatt.
And we are happy to have you join the Wrevolution. Today is...
I'm sorry, I gotta cut you off. Are we happy? We're reviewing Hell in a Cell.
Okay, look, I'm happy to have them join us. It doesn't necessarily make me happy to be a human being at this point. So, speaking of being human beings, we are both human beings, and we are both extremely busy as human beings. As such, today is Tuesday, and on this Tuesday, we're recording 3 videos.
Yeah.
So have fun with the content overload by the end of the day today, but we're going to kick things off with, the worst of the things we'll review. I don't know, Raw was pretty bad, but Hell in a Cell,
Look, I'm giving it a lot of crap, but, I mean, to be honest, Hell in a Cell would have been a solid, mediocre B-level pay-per-view if it wasn't for...
And then they finished it.
Yeah, we're gonna get to that. I mean, by this point, you know what we're talking about. You know the disaster that happened at the end. Let's just start from the beginning.
Can we have a moment of silence for the victims of that disaster?
Enough of that crap.
Thank you.
All right, so... Hell in a Cell. So, first thing I noticed out the gate, this is my favorite thing about the new era. Pyro! Yes! Pyro! I'm so excited. I love it. No, seriously, the first thing I noticed was that Hell in a Cell had a unique stage. It wasn't the Raw or the Smackdown stage or any combination of the two. It was actually a unique stage. I thought that's really cool. Hopefully, for future pay-per-views, it's actually going to continue like that. It's not just going to be a generic pay-per-view stage, but actually they will continue to have different stages for each show.
Well, let's put it this way. It was as unique as a WWE stage gets.
I thought it was cool.
I mean, it was cool to have a different stage. I'll agree with that.
It's better than the Raw stage, and arguably I thought...
Okay, look, anything right now. You could go with the old... ECW block of bricks in a door formation stage, and it would be better than the Raw stage right now. The Raw stage is atrocious.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. Well, we hampered on that enough last week. Second thing is the cell is still red. I'm not a fan of the red cell.
I feel like if you're going for a color, I would go with black. It's like this is the place where the darkest, blackest souled human beings dwell. And instead it's like this weird bright red.
It looks like you dipped your cell in candy paint. It's not cool.
I mean, no complaints. It's one of my favorite colors, but it just doesn't do it for me for Hell in a Cell.
Yeah, it's not the right atmosphere.
Hell in a Cell.
Thank you, Vince. But, so we kick things off with the Raw commentary team. So we welcome back Dio Madden, Vic Joseph, and Jerry the King Lawler.
I have to stop pretending like I don't like them because this is a pretty decent commentary team, and then there's King.
Yes. I mean, no, you hit that right in the...
If this was our commentary team for NXT and the NXT commentary team was the team for Raw, we'd be fine.
Yeah. I mean, I'm going to be honest with you, and we see this a little bit later on when the Smackdown commentary team comes on. It's just Michael Cole and Corey Graves. I mean, no Renee Young, just those two. And I'm wondering, why can't they just do that with the Raw team?
Yeah, exactly. Just cut King out. I mean, I know it's because, Dio Madden doesn't have a ton of experience. Maybe that's their plan, is to cut it down to a two-man team.
So.
I really do hope so. Maybe once Dio gets the experience that he needs.
Dio actually has some pretty
yeah, dude, the quips that Dio comes up with are probably the highlight of most shows.
Yeah, so let's get into this show. So we start things off with what I believe is the best match of the night, and that's Sasha Banks versus Becky Lynch in a Hell in a Cell for the Raw Women's Championship.
Super
and
fun.
Me and you had very different opinions of this match.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this because I know that you really enjoyed this match, and I don't want to take time from your limelight. But I think that this match was a fine match. I think it was a good match. I think these performers performed well. And I think it was innovative in ways. I think we saw a lot of cell innovation, which is cool.
We've seen spots that we've never seen before in a cell, which is hard to do because God knows there's been so many of them.
Yeah. But I was a little bit disappointed. I felt like this was one of those rivalries that you could probably avoid putting inside Hell in a Cell. And I talked to a couple of my buddies about this. It's October. It's gimmick pay-per-view. It is Hell in a Cell's in October, so whatever rivalry happens to be hot, throw it in the cell.
Well, I guess my biggest thing is that of any of the matches that deserve to be in the cell in that pay-per-view, that's the one that you honestly didn't even need the other Hell in a Cell match. That could have been the only one, and I would have been just fine. It's the only match that truly had build-up leading into this pay-per-view. God knows, it feels like they put this pay-per-view together like 4 hours before the show started.
Oh, that's because they did. Yeah. I mean, realistically, this pay-per-view was built around 3 matches. And none of the... Okay, for how good this match may have been, would you say that it lived up to and exceeded what you thought it could do?
I mean, I had zero expectations going into this pay-per-view,
That's
so
fair. Welcome to WWE.
The fact that it was even like somewhat decent blows my expectations at this point, which is really sad to say, but it's the truth.
That's totally understandable.
Yeah, but let's get into talk about at least some of the cool things that happened in this match. As the Stella is being lowered, Sasha Banks attacks Becky Lynch, throws her to the outside of the ring. Cell completely lowers. Sasha's just beating her down. And then she goes back into the ring. She comes out, taunts Becky Lynch, and then gets a door to the face for her pleasure. So that's how we started off Hell in a Cell. Becky Lynch then decides that her favorite Rihanna song is S&M because she loves her chains and decides to play the little ditty on the back of Sasha Banks. You didn't like that, did you?
You have been listening to way too much Mauro Ranallo commentary. And her favorite song must be S&M because, my God, she is playing with that chain on her back.
Mamma mia.
Mamma mia.
Yes, so... Yeah, she went to work on Sasha with that chain. It was it's kind of brutal. But, and then she goes to lock the cell back and then just says, screw it. Then later on, we see Becky grabbing a table and a ladder and... But Sasha then smacks her in the face with a chair, throws the chair at her face, which I think I always thought that was kind of silly, that headshots are banned in WWE, maybe. But yet you can throw a steel chair right at someone's face as hard as you can.
I don't know, maybe headshots aren't banned anymore. We'll get to that later in the night. See, when I saw Becky pull out the table and the ladder, I was thinking that she had taken the concept of the match that I had always thought up, where you do TLC inside a cell.
Yeah.
Book it, Vince.
So then we also get another cool spot. Becky has Sasha set up in the corner with a ladder pressed up against her, and then we see, the other way around, and Sasha with the double knees driving Becky through the ladder. I thought that was kind of cool. We see a spot where Becky has her arm trapped inside the cell door, and Sasha's just slamming the door on her arm over and over again, and they kind of play off that, kind of going, oh, well, how is she going to get the disarmer locked in? And so they really build off of that. The commentaries did a really good job of playing off of that angle, and that's kind of cool, selling a body part. It's always a fun angle.
It would appear to me that Becky Lynch learned her lesson. This is why we allow the referee to fasten the chain around the cell door, because if you do it yourself, you could do it a little too loose, and then guess what? Someone can use it as a weapon against you.
Yeah.
Oh, and you mean in-ring psychology is cool?
I know, right?
Shocking, WWE. Not just two giant dudes mashing at each other. Like, oh my God.
Well, I always think it's kind of cool. And WWE's always been known as the land of giants, so to see two female competitors telling great in-ring storytelling in 2019, it's amazing. Like, I love seeing that. Vince, this isn't some magical idea. Indie wrestling companies have been doing this for years. So thank you for at least appreciating the women. These two work their tails off, by the way.
But the indies, they don't have the money that I do. I bought the competition.
Yeah, sure you did, Vince. But we actually, tying off of that in-ring psychology, we also saw Sasha taking Becky Lynch's left hand, putting it in between a steel chair, and then just stomping on it. And that was brutal, man. We see another one where we saw another aspect of storytelling, Banks takes a steel chair and wedges it into the cell wall, and it just kind of leaves it there for foreshadowing later on in the match. And they actually play off of that later on, as we saw Becky Lynch get tossed into that same steel chair. And Dio Madden actually made a great call acknowledging this is why Sasha Banks is the blueprint, because she's, a mastermind at setting traps. So I thought that was kind of cool. We see other brutal spots like a Beck-sploder into the cell wall. We saw a drop toe hold and then a running bulldog on Banks from Becky Lynch into the steel chair. And then we saw what I thought was the dumbest spot of the night, which was, so Sasha went to go smack Becky with a chair. Becky caught it and then threw it back at her. And then Sasha Banks is just kind of standing there while Becky Lynch is climbing the turnbuckle and setting up for a drop kick. And then Becky hits it. And Sasha the whole time just standing there, just waiting, looking up at her. And I'm like, that's really dumb. I mean, I understand you have to set up for the spot. And, wrestling obviously is is fixed. So, things are going... You're going in... Yes, you're...
Wait. Wrestling's fixed?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, obviously you're going into the match with pre-planned spots, but... That was just sloppily done. I thought they could have done a better job, or just nixed the spot altogether, personally. The match was already a spot fest. I think you could have done... You
can call an audible.
Yeah, you didn't need it, if I'm being real. But we also see kendo sticks. Lots and lots of kendo sticks. I mean, seriously. And we saw some innovation with that, too. We saw... Becky Lynch take a kendo stick, kind of wedge it in between the corner of the cell wall, and then take a steel chair, put it on top, take another one, so that way it firmly holds up the steel chair, and then she places Sasha Banks on top of the steel chair, and then runs across the apron, drop kick into Sasha Banks. That was, I thought, really cool. I've never seen anything like that before, at least not in the modern era, so I thought that was kind of cool.
Well, and this is where we get what the strongest thing in this match is. Kendo sticks. Congratulations, WWE, for finally using real kendo sticks and not these cute little toys. Sandman would be proud.
Well, we did see, kind of Becky Lynch play off the crowd. The crowd starts chanting for a table, and then lo and behold, a table gets pulled out. So that was kind of cool as well. We do finally see, though, at the end, Banks is tossing chairs into the ring. Becky gets smacked with one. That was kind of brutal.
Yeah, thank you for the Kevin Owens spot there. I'm going to bury my opponent in chairs. Yeah. Yes, that's going to do it, Sasha.
But right after that happens, Banks gets hit with the Beck-sploder onto the chair pile and follows it up with a disarmor. Banks taps. Still women's champion, Becky Lynch. And the crowd was very mixed on this. I mean, they were mixed throughout the entire match, but you even saw right after the bell rang and they did a pan shot of the crowd. You saw one guy in the front row was just shaking his head. He obviously wasn't happy. Personally, I don't mind the result of the match. I would have loved to have seen Sasha Banks win, but I mean, I think both women walk away from this match looking strong. I don't think anyone looked weak in this match at all.
No, I don't think there were any weaknesses in this match. I think that both of them showed out, and again, while maybe it didn't need to be in a cell, they did with it what they needed to.
I mean, they used the most of it, I'll tell you that.
Exactly. So we can just go ahead and skip to the last match because none of the other stuff on this card matters, right?
No, we do have to talk a little bit about
every filler match, all 4 or 5 of them.
I mean, yeah, that's this pay-per-view. That is WWE pay-per-views in a nutshell, unless your name is WrestleMania or the Royal Rumble.
Or Royal Rumble.
And let's be fair, even WrestleMania in the past couple years isn't. Yeah. So now we get the Smackdown commentary team. As I mentioned earlier, it's only Michael Cole and Corey Graves. And that's actually kind of a blessing in disguise because these two by themselves work off each other amazingly well.
It kind of feels like the connection that Michael Cole and Taz had, maybe not quite as electric. Michael Cole is still boring.
Yeah, it's still Cole. But Graves is still one of my favorite commentators.
Absolutely. And him working without having to deal with, Byron or Renee, and just him and Cole, it works out well.
Yeah. So we get this next match, it's Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan versus Luke Harper and Erick Rowan.
So we have one of, if not the most underrated person in WWE in Luke Harper. Luke Harper is just a phenomenal athlete. And honestly, I'm happy to have him back, but apparently the crowd, not so much.
Yeah, well, these two came out to the sound of crickets. It was disappointing. And I know most people don't really care about Erick Rowan, but I honestly think he's done a really good job of rebuilding himself. First of all, he's looked pretty good in the ring, and even on the mic, he's gotten much better. I think, obviously, when you have an angle like a hit and run and the who did it angle with Roman Reigns, that's just set up for failure. But I mean, I think he's done the best of it that he could have done, anyone could have done, and I don't know, I felt like he not deserved a better reaction, because, I mean, you get what you get, but I don't know. The crowd just didn't care. When Reigns comes out, split reaction per usual, but a little bit more cheers than boos.
And, I mean, we're going to talk about this with the reaction. How do you boo a guy with leukemia?
Well, that's the Vince's whole mindset behind it.
Right, apparently. I mean, you could have just pushed Roman to the moon, and he would still get, at the very least, 50-50. Because I'm not going to boo somebody who has leukemia. I might not cheer for him, but I'm not going to boo him.
Well, yeah, I guess the crowd wasn't exactly with you on that.
I guess not. But then we get the hero's welcome.
Yeah, Daniel Bryan, who at this point hasn't fully turned face, I guess. But the crowd, you couldn't tell the crowd that, because he was red hot coming into this match. He was hot throughout the match, and Lord knows he was hot after. Bryan can do no wrong.
No, absolutely not.
I mean, there was a point where I felt like with this whole who did it angle with Erick Rowan that, he was kind of like, not like fading as a superstar, but kind of like, felt like the crowd was like, okay, this is happening, let's move on. Even as a heel, he was still getting massive cheers. I mean, obviously you got your boos. He was an amazing heel, but nah, Daniel Bryan is just in WWE at least, he is a natural babyface. And you can see it because the crowd everything he does, the crowd just eats up. But we're going to get now into this match a little bit. So this is a tornado tag match, and you'd never know it because it was booked 2-on-1 virtually throughout the entire match.
Well, and I mean, this is one of those things, a traditional tag team, Rowan and Harper, versus two guys who are just tagging, although it's tornado tagging for the first time. And you see a lot of 2-on-1 competition, a lot of teamwork between those two guys. And it makes for a really good storyline because you got two guys who are a traditional tag team who are taking out the ability of the other guys to work together or overpower them and just overpowering them 2-on-1. It was really great storytelling.
I think you just did a better job of explaining this match than WWE did because, again, despite all the build-up, the crowd just didn't care. No one cares about this match. And part of it is that midway through this angle, you just inserted Luke Harper. And then you did nothing in explaining why he's back, like what the purpose is.
This match probably could have been a little bit better if it was a traditional tag. And you could have played off that going into the build, how are Bryan and Reigns going to be able to work together? Or you could even go the angle of, well, Harper and Rowan are such a great tag team that they're just going to cut off the ring. And how is Daniel Bryan going to get to the larger Roman Reigns? And you didn't play any of those angles because it was tornado tag. You just played Bray sleeps for 5 minutes, Roman sleeps for 5 minutes, end of match when they're both awake.
I mean, there were a couple cool spots. I mean, you got a spot where Roman got obliterated by some steel steps. You saw a scary dive through the ropes by Luke Harper where he smacked his face on the side of the announce table. Harper, please don't die.
Yeah, we were just talking about how you're underrated. You'll be significantly more underrated when you have a neck injury.
Then we saw Erick Rowan kind of display his strength, tears apart the barricade.
Let me pull this padding away and hold it by the small steel frame and run at my opponent. Run, 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 run.
And then he just kind of lightly taps him with it.
Oh, my God. That spot was atrocious. And Look, the barricade doesn't look scary. It is very, very, very well padded.
I disagree. I mean, it's the fact... I mean, you can see that thing is basically just all metal with, like, a little bit of padding surrounding it. But, so, had he actually, like, you know, ran and really smacked him with it, then I'd feel that impact more. You hear it every time someone gets thrown to the barricade. You can hear the sound. I mean, it's brutal, but I mean, when you just kind of run up and you just go, ding, like, yeah, no, there's no impact there. Then, just get to the end of the match, we see...
Superman punch!
No. We see Harper and Rowan setting up for a powerbomb on Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan then reverses it into a Hurricane Rana on Luke Harper. And then we see Roman Reigns sprint across the announce tables for a spear on Erick Rowan through the announce table, effectively taking him out of this match for the remainder. Then we see Bryan and Harper back inside of the ring, and then we get a Superman
punch
by Roman Reigns, followed by the running knee from Daniel Bryan, and finishing it with a spear.
Ooh,
1, 2, 3, your victors, Daniel Bryan and Roman Reigns, as if anyone expected anything less.
Hug it out.
Yeah, so we got at the end of the match, Daniel Bryan, you know, he's going, you know, let's handshake, good job, partner. And then he goes, wait, no. Puts his arms out, crowd goes nuts, chanting, hug it out. And then, yes, Roman Reigns and Daniel Bryan embrace in the center of the ring. Bryan, I'm guessing at this point, has just gone full babyface. Welcome back, Daniel Bryan, the leader of the Yes Movement, has returned.
I mean, you don't have to be a face to be a hugger. Just ask Bayley.
Yeah, so...
Unfortunately, we have to get to Randy Orton and Ali.
Yeah, so... Positives? Ali's entrance is always a plus. I love his entrance. Randy Orton is always cool. I mean, he's one of my favorite superstars, even though sometimes he tends to just not care.
You know,
this was one of those times.
It looked like Randy Orton and Ali had very good chemistry for about 35 seconds.
Yeah, I mean, you could tell just kind of out the gate when Randy just kind of strode out, and then he just kind of lackadaisical, did his pose. It was like, oh no, it's going to be one of those matches.
Yeah.
Randy just did not care, and you could tell he was not giving this his A game at all. We're going to talk about the Michael Cole's classic term for a Randy Orton match is methodical. Yeah, a.k.a. boring, and that's what this match was. These two styles did not mesh at all, and that's kind of been my biggest complaint with taking up these indie guys like Ali, like Ricochet, AJ Styles, and then trying to get them to conform to the typical WWE style is that you're hampering what's made them cool. You're trying to, like, take something that's amazing, it's fast-paced, it's high-octane, and then you're just slowing it completely down, and that's not what these guys are known for.
I don't know. I like to see them challenged in a way where they have to fight, where they have to wrestle, but from a position of a slower pace.
I'm sorry, but no one's paying money to see Ricochet wrestle a slow, methodical pace match. You're going to watch Ricochet do flippy shit. That is what you are paying to see Ricochet do. And that's what you're, spending your money on to see Mustafa Ali here, and you didn't get that. And, I mean, what do you expect when you get the antithesis of...
What was that?
I don't know what...
The antithesis?
I misspoke, okay? The antithesis of anything flippy at all in Mr. RKO, Mr. I Hate Indie Wrestling, and you put him in a match with Mustafa Ali. Hey, what do you think was going to happen?
Best people can do it both.
Except he doesn't.
Well, no, but you were talking about, you pay to see guys do flippy shit. Well, the best guys can do everything.
Well, I guess Randy's not a best guy.
No. I mean, if you talk about our top 3, top 4, yeah, every guy in the top 3 or top 4 can either go at a methodical pace or can go at the extreme crackhead pace that we see in like PWG sometimes.
Yeah. But Randy had zero care to do that. This match was slow. It was boring. I honestly kind of felt bad for Ali because he was kind of working his butt off, and Randy was giving him nothing. And the crowd sure didn't care. We did see something kind of cool. We saw a dope reversal of the RKO. Ali reverses it into a handstand, only for like 5 to 10 seconds later to get hit by an RKO anyway. And then Orton just kind of looks at him like, you thought you could reverse the RKO?
You thought you were slick.
Son, get out of here. And yeah, he loses. Randy Orton gets the victory. Who cares? Then we got to talk about this match. So, did you guys know that?
Dare you, WWE? I'm so sorry, Alexa. Honey, you didn't deserve that.
So, did you guys know that WWE has women's tag team titles? Did you know that?
I did. I follow it religiously because Alexa.
I think you're the only one. I'm pretty sure Vince forgot until on Sunday. I mean, we talk about, a lot of titles that are undervalued and underutilized, but is there a set of titles that's a bigger joke than the women's tag team titles? The 24/7 title was meant to be a joke, and that's taken more seriously than the women's tag titles. It's that bad. So, Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross come out. Kabuki Warriors come out. Neither team got much of a reaction at all. Just like I don't care. The crowd didn't care. Just like Vince McMahon doesn't care.
It is so hard to take Kairi Sane seriously as a heel or even a borderline heel.
How can you boo that lovable pirate character? Yo ho, yo ho. Like, every time I hear that theme song, I just want to get up and
Exactly.
sing.
You can't boo that.
At least Asuka, I could take
you
seriously.
You could take her as like a heel, but really?
Yeah. I couldn't. I don't buy it. I don't buy into the Kairi Sane heel factor at all.
Did you not turn your phone off?
Oh, so we're just gonna acknowledge that?
Oh, we're going to acknowledge that. I'm going to watch you turn your volume off now.
I was just gonna let it slide.
Oh no chance.
All right.
I'm here to call you out. That is my job. I am the Skip Bayless to your Shannon Sharp.
I see me more as a Matt Kellerman to your Stephen A.
Fair.
So, yeah, this match, I don't want to get too in-depth on this. The Kabuki Warriors win. They win because apparently every Japanese wrestler has to use poison mist.
Yeah, not even just Japanese. Every Asian wrestler has poison mist now. So congratulations, Asia.
Asuka uses the poison mist on Nikki Cross. Roll up. Kabuki Warriors win. Honestly, it's already a blow to Asuka and Kairi Sane to try to force them into some awkward tag team, but then to have them have to cheat to win. We're talking about Asuka, who at one point was one of the most dominant women, not only in the modern era, but ever. I mean, she had a winning streak that didn't surpass Goldberg's. So
yeah, I don't remember. It's so long ago now.
So
and I stopped caring because Charlotte.
And then we had Kairi Sane, who came into WWE with so much hype, was one of the top superstars in NXT, and look at where they are now.
Yeah,
so
it's just depressing.
It's hard to take them seriously.
I do have to say, I mean, Alexa Bliss looked like a pretty good hot tag in this match.
Are you just saying that because you're in love with her?
No. Genuinely, I think Alexa Bliss had a pretty good hot tag in this match. She came in, really lit a fire under her team, and then Nikki Cross went and let us down again.
I love Nikki Cross. I don't know what you're talking about.
I mean, Nikki Cross is fine, but the second that she costs me and Alexa a match, it's not going to work.
So, you have an apology to make, my friend. We both do, to be honest, but you more so than I.
To the Viking Raiders, I am sincerely sorry for on Monday having called you boring. I was entirely incorrect. Ibar, you are extremely, extremely charismatic, very athletic, and very exciting to watch in the ring. Erick, you are still unbelievably as boring as humanly possible, and you need to stop holding down your tag team partner, because guess what? He could be the next best thing in wrestling. How would I not know? Because you are in the ring also.
Not where I thought that was going. So, yeah, the Viking Raiders did a good job of making me care.
Yeah, Ibar did a really good job of making me care.
Unfortunately,
but just Ibar.
It just wasn't enough because, again, this is a nothing match. And I have something important to say.
That's a shock.
WWE, you might want to listen up. This is a pay-per-view.
What?
AJ Styles is your United States champion.
What?
Why was that title not defended? And matter of fact, where's the Intercontinental Championship? Shinsuke Nakamura didn't even appear on the show.
To be fair, Shinsuke might have not been in fight mode.
You're taking, first of all, one of the hottest stables, what was one of the hottest stables in professional wrestling in the OC, and you're making them look like complete fools, like losers. Honestly, who cares about the OC right now? I don't. Clearly, Vince McMahon, WWE, does not care at all. You're putting them in meaningless six-man tag team matches against the Viking Raiders and Braun Strowman.
Yeah, talk about addressing the camera directly. AJ, Carl, Luke, the chances of you watching this are absolutely zero. But on the chance that someday you stumble upon this, you'll understand that I was right. No matter how much money they're paying you, it's not worth it. Leave. Go to the promised land where you belong.
NXT.
AJ, you could leave the company and have a dream match with Kenny Omega. But instead, you are in a six-man tag team match on a B-level pay-per-view, not even defending your secondary singles title. Think about it.
And you want to talk about someone who has no creative direction? And we think it's just the OC and AJ, but Braun Strowman, clearly the company had no plans for him. I mean, a celebrity match is what you do when either the company wants to push you as that guy or they've got nothing else left planned for you. And clearly it's the latter, because what has Braun been doing these past couple months? At one point, he was in the title picture. He was in matches against Brock freaking Lesnar.
Well, to be perfectly honest with you, I feel like this match, or maybe not, I don't know, probably a match. It's not confirmed, but it's a match with Tyson Fury. It could wind up doing for Braun Strowman what we hope it does. Because if you think about it, you beat Tyson Fury, that certifies you as the kind of person who could beat Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, though. It's a celebrity match, so he's going to lose. They're not putting Braun Strowman over Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury, he's the lineal champion.
Yeah. He's undefeated in boxing.
Undefeated. It was the same reason why Mayweather didn't lose to Big Show, because you can't have him lose.
Mayweather's entire credit is based off of the fact that I can't lose, I'm all about my money. Tyson Fury is a guy who actually seems to care, and he's openly mentioned that he enjoys WWE, and I'm sure that kind of person would maybe do something like that.
Nah, that's the business side of anyone. They're not going to let that happen. Tyson Fury's you can predict this match a mile away. It's going to be, I guess that's going to be relatively close, but how these celebrity matches normally go is that Fury's going to end up squashing Braun. This is going to do nothing for Braun Strowman in the long term. It's going to be a cool thing to see. It's going to sell tickets, and I almost said pay-per-view buys, but everything's on the network now. It's going to sell network buys. But
$9.99.
It's going to look cool on a poster, but at the end of the day, no one's going to care. It's going to do nothing for Braun Strowman's career at the end of the day. I mean, sure, everyone's going to walk away with a nice paycheck, but...
Here I was thinking I was Nancy negative.
It's hard to be positive about anything in WWE nowadays, but there's not much to talk about in this match. This is, again, a who cares match. At the end of the day, the OC attacks Strowman, the match is thrown out, and you kind of you had the feeling that, at least the OC's going to look strong, even though they couldn't get the victory, right? Nope. They get jobbed out. The Viking Raiders beat down Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson up at the stage, and then Braun Strowman destroys AJ Styles, who's made to look like a complete idiot. I mean, after he gets knocked unconscious, he's like stumbling up the ramp. He can barely stand straight. That's your U.S. champion. That's the phenomenal one, AJ Styles, who was arguably considered one of the top wrestlers in the world today. Looking like a complete fool.
Yeah.
Like, what are you doing?
Well, Vince doesn't know what he has. I mean, maybe he does, and that's why we got that nice long title run. And maybe, I don't know, maybe Vince has pictures of AJ somewhere on his phone or something, because it looks embarrassing.
I mean, I understand not everyone can be on top all the time, but...
John Cena.
But at least better than this. Please. But then we get King Corbin versus the newly dubbed Shorty.
Whoa. You are skipping right past the 48-7 European Television Championship of the World changing hands. Tamina Snuka rolled up Carmella for the 1-2-3 during a Street Profits promo and is crowned the new 48-7 European Television Champion of the World.
It's one of the few entertaining moments on this pay-per-view, which is really sad, but it's the truth.
The 24/7 championship is fantastic. It has definitely added a lot of great things and a lot of interesting segments. All we need now is the Hardcore Championship to return to have two of them.
Yeah, that's going to be a thing. But we get King Corbin versus the newly dubbed Shorty Gable.
I dub thee Shorty.
Yeah, so apparently the King of the Ring's purpose, one of the things you can do now as king, is legally change people's names. Yep. And that's what happened in this match. As before the match even started, King Corbin grabs a microphone. We get paraded with short joke after short joke. I mean, Vince wrote each and every one of these personally himself.
By hand.
By hand, yes. Vince cackling the entire time, just thinking to himself, my God, this is some good shit. But no, it's terrible.
Yeah, I'm picturing Vince in his office just absolutely losing his mind at these short jokes. But I think the funnier thing were the STD chants coming from the crowd.
Thank you, Rock and Becky, for that.
You know, Corbin, you are one super tough dude.
Absolutely. Again, not much to talk about in this match. Gable wins with a roll-up after Corbin tried to hit him with the King's Scepter. And then after, Greg Hamilton announced him victorious as Shorty Gable. So that is his name. Michael Cole didn't like that very much. Him and Graves went back and forth a little bit on that one. Cole wanted Greg Hamilton fired, and then Graves, I can't talk today, looks at Cole and goes, "You should be fired." It was pretty funny.
Hey, there's something Graves and I agree on.
Yeah.
So, following this, we're doing the introductions for the foreign announced teams, and who emerges but Tamina running through the row, followed by R-Truth and Carmella. This is where we get Funaki going face-to-face with R-Truth, who then says, "Yeah, Funaki, I'm not trying to fight you. I'm trying to fight Tamina." Funaki walks away. R-Truth, or Carmella lays her out, and then beckons R-Truth to the cover. And we have our new 48-7 European Television Champion of the World.
20 time.
Yes, the very first 20-time 24/7 champion. Congratulations, Mr. Killings.
More reigns than Ric Flair, John Cena. That's amazing.
I mean, it's R-Truth, of course.
He's going to go down in the history books, man.
He has to. Greatest of all time. R-Truth, you are the GOAT.
Here's something that I, 5-10 years from now, I just love to look up as like a cool wiki fact. Who's gonna have more reigns, R-Truth or Charlotte Flair?
Considering R-Truth probably doesn't have another 5 to 10 years in the tank, probably Charlotte.
And that's a perfect segue as we get into Charlotte Flair versus Bayley for the SmackDown Women's Championship. And I have from my notes as Bayley comes out, Bayley is a weird character.
My exact notes are, seem to have one of the weirdest in-ring dynamics I have ever seen in my life. Bayley pretending to be a heel, and Charlotte somehow attempting to be a face.
Well, so the commentators try to explain this away as, well, Bayley still thinks she's a woman of the people. She still thinks she's a good girl, and she's coming out trying to, give high fives to the crowd. She's got the wacky, wavy, inflatable, flailing arm Tootman, and, she's insane. I think that's kind of where they're going. When you have nothing else left to give for the women, you just call them crazy. We saw that with AJ Lee. We're seeing it now with Bayley. She's just insane, and that's a shame. I mean, I thought we were going to get something really cool with this this Bayley heel turn, but no, they've got nothing for her, and it's shown in this match. Charlotte comes out as the, face to the sound of boos, which I just thought is hilarious.
No, they were woos, Marques. They were woos.
You're right. My mistake. Charlotte, I don't want to beat up on anyone, but
you're going to?
Yeah, Charlotte is just annoying. I don't like her. Don't get me wrong. She is an amazing in-ring technician. She's one of the best women's wrestlers in the world today, but go away. I'm so sick of you, Charlotte Flair. Every time she talks in that robotic voice,
I am going to be the women's champion.
And she just comes out and berates any and everyone she's in the ring with. She's like a more talented version of Stephanie McMahon. I just can't stand her. It's bad, man. I don't know.
You know what? With Charlotte, I look at it this way. If you are that good, then you can flaunt it like you're that good. But at the same time, it's like there are probably 2 or 3 people who are nearly at your talent level.
If not better.
Right. That's when your arrogance is a little off-putting.
Yeah, when you're standing in the ring with Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch and you're still acting like you're Mrs. Been There, Done That. I mean, sure, you have a crap ton of title reigns, but exactly. I mean, what do they mean when, you lose them in a couple months anyway, right? So,
well, I mean, she's no Little Miss Bliss, but, she's okay.
All right. So, yeah, despite my hatred of Charlotte, this match was all right. It was definitely better than the crap we were getting before it. Despite that, though, it's still really not worth talking about.
Didn't care.
Charlotte wins to the crowd. Just, you could just feel the air go out of the balloon. They just didn't care. Crowd just kind of goes, here we go again. Charlotte is a 10-time women's champion.
10-time.
It's ridiculous. I mean, talk about shoving someone down your throat. I can't keep talking about this. My biggest takeaway was Bayley just has no purpose, and it's as shown.
Then sat there crying for a minute and a half on camera.
Uncomfortably long. Almost as uncomfortable as
the
almost as uncomfortable as the Bobby Lashley Lana kiss on Monday Night Raw. It got that levels of uncomfortable. But, yeah. Now we got to
Speaking of can't talk about.
We got to get to, and if you're watching this video, you've already seen Hell in a Cell. You know what comes next. It was trending on Twitter. It got, hashtag cancel WWE Network trending on Twitter. It's what everyone was talking about for like 24 hours straight if you're a wrestling fan. And that's the main events. No, we're not. Okay. And oh, we got to talk about it. But okay, so I guess it's just me now. So we are going to talk about Seth Rollins versus the Fiend, Bray Wyatt. Yes, you knew we had to get to it. We have to talk about it. The match that is being universally panned by everybody. And what's my opinion of this match? It wasn't that bad. Now, hold on. I'm right there with you. The ending was atrocious. One of the worst things I've ever seen in my life. How you book that, I don't know. But hear me out. Let me explain why I think that the match as a whole wasn't that terrible. We start off with Seth Rollins coming out, Mr. Burn It Down, getting, kind of a lukewarm response from the crowd. He's not as over as he once was, and I think it's kind of just, no pun intended, burnout. But, yeah, the crowd's kind of getting tired of Seth Rollins. Then we get The Fiend, who, I said it before, I'll say it again, is one of the coolest things going in WWE right now. His entrance is amazing. The lantern with like the severed head of Bray Wyatt, I just think that's amazing. The mask, everything about The Fiend is just dope. It's so cool. When he finally gets down to the ring, we're gonna get this like red lighting, I guess, throughout the entire match, which I thought that's kind of cool. It added a different dynamic to the match. And the story they told for this match, I bought into it. I see where they were going. So the whole like aspect of this match they were trying to get you to buy into is that no matter how much punishment the Fiend takes, he's going to keep coming. He's like that demon. He's like Jason. He's just going to keep coming back no matter what. I mean, we had at one point Seth Rollins beating him with kendo sticks to zero effect. We got him putting him through tables. Fiend gets back up. We got a curb stomp. Fiend immediately got back up. Went for another, but then gets caught with a Sister Abigail. And this frustrated me because Seth Rollins kicked out. I understand that this isn't a new finisher, that Bray Wyatt's been around for a minute, but this is kind of the rebuilding of the Bray Wyatt character. And when you're doing something like that, you need to have a finisher that's going to have impact, that's going to put people away. I know he's kind of been going more with the mandible claw, but that was a huge Sister Abigail. And for Rollins to just kind of kick out of it, it was like, that's kind of lame. But, I'd be okay with it if what happened later on in the match isn't what happened. But, yeah, then we get The Fiend, just like what he did to Finn Balor, snapping the neck movie style of Seth Rollins. He then grabs a giant cartoon-like hammer, and he drives Rollins into the wall with it. Then we get what begins the spiraling out of control, the overbooking, the worst part of this match. We get multiple super kicks from Seth Rollins, multiple curb stomps, the Fiend's just getting up everything. But then he just starts to lie there. Like he's just laying in the center of the ring and Seth Rollins is just giving him more and more punishment. And this is where my problem is that he's not getting back up. He's just laying in the center of the ring. He's no longer that monster that keeps coming. No, he's just sitting there. And Rollins is just beating on him more and more. And the crowd at this point is just booing hard. Then we get a pedigree. Fiend kind of gets up, then he gets hit with another curb stomp, then another one. Kicks out at one again. Then we see Seth Rollins grab a steel chair, and he hits him in the face while he's laying on the ground. That was that unprotected chair shot we talked about earlier. I did see, as I went back and watched it later on, that the Fiend kind of got his hand up a little bit, but it definitely wasn't enough. I mean, Rollins smacked the crap out of him with that thing. But it didn't matter. Kicked out at 1. He's still laying in the center of the ring, just motionless. Then we see Rollins put the chair on top of him. He grabs a ladder, and then he smashes the ladder into the chair. Kicks out at 2. Wow, progression. Still laying in the center of the ring. So then Rollins decides to cover him with the chair and the ladder. Then he grabs a toolbox, and he kind of just looks at it, and then proceeds to smash the toolbox over the skull of Bray Wyatt over and over and over. Then he just kind of gently puts it on top of him. And then he grabs the sledgehammer. And it's at this point where the referee is just like, no, Seth, don't do it. Think about what you're becoming. No, Seth, you don't have to do this. And Rollins is like, nah, man, you're right. I'm gonna calm down, stay cool, calm. Nope, screw that crap. Smashes him in the face with the sledgehammer. And the ref throws the match out.
WWE, I'm going to speak to you in a very calm tone because I've already yelled enough about this in the past. This was, by far, the worst booking decision I've seen in my entire life. This is a match that is designed so that the only thing that could possibly end it are pinfall and submission. And the reason for that is because it ends giant feuds. Now, maybe this wasn't a giant feud. This was kind of tossed together about a month ahead of time. You do not ruin the sanctity of Hell in a Cell. You do not throw out a match. You do not have a DQ in a match. It is pinfall. It is submission. If you want to call it some other way, don't have it in a cell. Whoever wrote this booking decision, do us all a favor. Find yourself a new profession. You don't belong. That's the end of my rant.
Honestly, the most mind-boggling thing about this is if you're Seth Rollins, if you're Paul Heyman, if you're The Fiend, how do you look at whoever wrote this, which I'm assuming it was either Vince or one of Vince's stooges, and you just go, yeah, that's okay. I mean, does no one have a say? Is everyone just too scared to speak up? How does this get passed? How does no one go, no, that doesn't make sense? I mean, we even had a segment with X-Pac is watching the show with other legends and former superstars, and he goes, yeah, you guys probably aren't going to invite me back, but how is that a disqualification in Hell in the Cell? And he's thinking the same thing we all are. It makes no sense. How do you justify that?
I have never been so disappointed. I can't tell you the last time I watched a pay-per-view go off the air and just went, I wasted 3 hours.
Oh, I can. But there's been a lot of times in recent years where I've been angry, I've been disappointed, I've been upset. This, and I'm gonna be real, despite the hashtags and the tweets and everything, when I saw this, I didn't get angry, I didn't get upset, I didn't rage. I just kind of sighed and closed up my laptop. Nothing surprises me anymore. This is the type of incompetence that I just expect from WWE nowadays. Nothing shocks me that they would stoop to this level. And you saw the crowd, the live crowd, chanting BS as soon as it happened.
AEW chants.
They did not like this result at all. And
and just as this happened on Twitter too, the Young Bucks took to Twitter and they put a very, very simple tweet out. Dynamite airs on Wednesday nights. I agree 100%. The alternative to, throwing out a match in which there's no DQ is going to a company that actually cares about the product they put out.
And they tried to, like, save it. Like, at the end, you had the Fiend, like, as the medics were coming out, he gets up, puts the mandible claw on Seth Rollins. Then he pulls up the mat on the outside of the ring. Sister Abigail, and then puts on another mandible claw. You've got the fake blood coming out with the lights turning on and off and the canned laughter in the background. But it didn't matter. The crowd was booing the entire time, chanting AEW. No one cared. There actually was a point where the crowd was chanting restart the match. And when the lights went out and they realized, nope, that's it. The graphic came on, the logo, that's the pay-per-view. The crowd just ripped this a new one. And there's videos of after the pay-per-view went off the air, the crowd sits there and just boos for like another 5 to 10 minutes. It's embarrassing. I feel bad for Seth and Bray Wyatt. I feel bad for Seth because he's taking a lot of hate here. He's getting the Roman Reigns treatment, and a lot of it's just undeserved. He doesn't book the matches. He doesn't have a say here. He's just doing his job, and he's doing a pretty good job of it too. The man doesn't deserve what he's getting, but, it is what it is.
There's nothing you can do about it. Look, Seth was on the other end of this, and I don't know. I don't know how you go through with a booking decision like this. This just goes to show again why Jon Moxley left.
Yeah.
You get handed a booking decision you don't like, and Vince just says, yeah, you're going to do it anyways.
And what scares me the most is that, look, I love The Fiend. I love Bray Wyatt. I love what he's doing. A lot of people feel the same way. Bray Wyatt is a man who's, no pun intended again, suffered a lot, been through a lot of demons in his life and his career. And he's turned it around. He's done his best to kind of reinvent his character after you murdered it at WrestleMania against The Undertaker, and then he returned again, and you again just beat it to death. And
Randy Orton.
Yeah, the Randy Orton thing again at WrestleMania. He's done a really good job of reinventing himself with this Fiend character. You can tell a lot of hours have been spent of Bray Wyatt just alone in a room, just writing down ideas, just coming up with everything. The Firefly Funhouse is one of the coolest things week in and week out. It gets the most views of anything on WWE. You can tell that Bray loves what he's doing. He loves it. He's putting his heart and soul into all of this. Vince, you talk about grabbing the metaphorical brass ring. No one is doing that more than Bray Wyatt. No one else wants to be the top guy or deserves to be the top guy on your platform show more than Bray Wyatt. He's proved that he's earned this. He's working hard to get that top spot. And what you're doing to him right now, it's undeserved. You haven't ruined it yet, but we're in the danger zone right now. You're at the point where one more bad booking decision can ruin this character forever, and could be you can't come back from another tainted character. That's 3 strikes. You can't come back from this if you're Bray Wyatt. He knows this, and that's why he's working so hard to make this work. Don't take this away from him. Don't take this away from us. I feel like we as the fans, if not Bray Wyatt, we as the fans deserve this. We've wanted to see him get pushed for years. We want this. We want to see Bray Wyatt succeed. You do this thing where you bring out, retired old veterans like The Undertaker to come out and, do the spooky thing. When you have someone right there on your roster that can do that on a week in and week out basis, who can put in the hours, the grind, because Undertaker can't anymore, because Kane doesn't want to anymore. You have Bray Wyatt, who has become one of the hottest things in pro wrestling, and you're not utilizing him. It's unacceptable. It's a shame. It really is. WWE, come to your senses about what you've got right there. You know how many people would love, how many companies would love to have what Bray Wyatt is giving you? You want to talk about sports entertainment? That's gold right there. And not only that, but he's phenomenal in the ring. Talk about in-ring psychology and storytelling. No one does that better than Bray Wyatt. And you're wasting away his golden years. It's ridiculous. It's a shame. I'm done.
Yeah, I was kind of wondering when you're going to wrap that up. That was a hefty little rant there, buddy.
It's ridiculous, honestly.
I know, and it's not just Bray. I mean, they have a lot of guys who could take the spooky mantle, and all of them are currently doing nothing.
Yeah, and I guess the biggest thing I can say, the takeaway, the thing I'm going to leave you with is the way you felt at the end of this match sums up the entire pay-per-view.
Yep. All right, so match of the night, you already said yours is Sasha and Becky?
Yes.
Okay. So I walked away for the breakdown of the final match, and I am going to call it match of the night. I know. It is so hard to get past that ending. So hard that, again, I had to walk away. I can't even talk about it with a straight head, or a head on my shoulders. I can't even speak right now.
You shouldn't speak. What are you saying right now? That's your match of the night?
That is my match of the night. The in-ring psychology shown by Bray Wyatt, and some of the creative moves that they came up with, but mostly the in-ring psychology from Bray Wyatt was outstanding, and quite frankly, the rest of this pay-per-view sucked. So,
okay.
Anyways, we're going to move on to MVP. Who you got for the MVP for the show?
Sasha Banks was the best performer of the night. She worked her ass off in that match. Took bump after bump after bump. MVP, shouts to you, Sasha Banks.
All right, and my MVP for the night, Ibar. Again, thank you for making me actually realize there is talent in the Viking Raiders yet.
You're riding that Ibar
it just happens to not be with Erick.
Jumping on the bandwagon, are we?
I'm not jumping on the bandwagon of the Viking Raiders. I'm jumping on the Ibar bandwagon. Erick, do us all a favor. Leave your tag team partner. Please. I'm begging you.
All right, and with that wraps up our podcast on the Hell in the Cell pay-per-view 2019. Be sure to join us for our other podcasts. We're going to be doing a review of the AEW Wednesday Night Dynamite premiere. It's going to be kind of a compare and contrast with Wednesday night's NXT.
We're going to go ahead and loop in some stuff from SmackDown, try to catch up on our recaps here, as again we are behind. And also keep an eye out on the Monday Night Raw podcast. That'll be coming out shortly as well.
Yeah, so make sure you leave a comment, like, and subscribe. If you want to stay up to date on future videos, go ahead and follow us on our social medias down there. And
hit the cute little bell. It'll tell you when we do things.
Yes, so we'd like to thank you for watching this video, and make sure to join the Wrevolution. As always, I've been Marques White.
Nick Cavalli. Have a good night.
See you guys next time.